Hello everyone, and welcome back to the HrFlow.ai platform. Today, we're going to learn how to send a personalized newsletter with relevant job offers to candidates using just a few lines of code. Many recruiters are confronted with a significant amount of profile and job data, which can make them feel overwhelmed sometimes. Sending the best job offers to each candidate takes a tremendous amount of time and effort. This is why we thought of this workflow that automates this whole process using our HrFlow.ai parsing and scoring algorithms, as well as SendGrid API. For a better understanding of this tutorial, it is important to watch the previous tutorials about the HrFlow.ai API. To write and execute the code for this workflow, we will be using Google Colab, which allows anybody to write and execute Python code through the browser. You'll find a template for this Colab in the video description. The first step is to install the HrFlow.ai package using package installer for Python. Pip install HrFlow. The second step is to set up the HrFlow.ai API keys. You can find your API keys in the settings section under API. You'll have 3 levels of permissions to choose from: a write key to send data, a read key to retrieve data, and a read and write key to do both. Let's copy the read and write API key and use it in our code. Let's also specify the user email as well, which is the email you use to log into your HrFlow.ai platform. Before starting to use the HrFlow.ai package, we should first initialize the client. Let's now test this package and get all profiles from a specific source. To do so, you just need to copy the sample code from HrFlow.ai developers documentation that you will find under API reference, profile endpoints, get profiles/searching. As you can see, we have many parameters available for our profile searching request. But for our example, we just need to specify the source key and optionally a limit for the number of results. There are also multiple additional parameters that you can use. Please check our API documentation for more detail. When we run the code, we can see that the API response contains a list of profiles from our source. Let's now get the best job offers for the first profile in our list using HrFlow.ai job scoring API. To do so, again, we just need to copy the sample code from the HrFlow.ai developers documentation that you will find under API reference, jobs endpoint, get jobs scoring. We have many parameters available for our job scoring requests. For our example, we need to specify first the board keys. A board is just a collection of job offers. Then we get the profile key and source key from the previous step. Finally, we need to add the agent key, which is the prediction model we're going to use for scoring. Optionally, we can add a limit for the number of results and a sort by parameter to order out jobs by date or relevance. For more details on the rest of the parameters, check the API documentation mentioned before. Once we specify all the necessary parameters, we run the code to see the results. As you can see, we have a list of relevant job offers that correspond to our request. Using these 2 API endpoints, we can recommend for each of our candidates the most relevant job offers that match their career path. Now, let's see how to automate sending this information through email using SendGrid API. SendGrid provides a cloud-based service that assists businesses to deliver various types of emails like notifications, sign-up confirmations, and email newsletters. To learn more about this tool, go to docs.sendgrid.com. SendGrid also allows you to create dynamic email templates with content variables that allows you to easily customize each email through handlebars. In our tutorial, we will use a dynamic email template to customize our newsletter for each candidate and send them the relevant job offers to match their career path. For more information about dynamic email templates, please check the SendGrid documentation linked in the video description. Once we prepare our template, we will need the template ID for our newsletter workflow. We also need to create API keys to use in our workflow. To do that, head to the Settings menu and click on API Keys, then click on Create API Key. Give a name to your API keys and choose the access level. In this example, we chose Full Access. Finally, copy the API keys generated and store them somewhere safe, as they will no longer be visible on SendGrid later. Back to our Colab. The next step is to install the SendGrid package using pip install SendGrid. Let's now use the dynamic template we created to send a customized email to our candidates containing the 3 most relevant job offers we found. First, we specify the email destination and the dynamic template data. Then we specify the sender name and email, as well as the dynamic template ID. And finally, we should add our API keys to the SendGrid request at the end. Here is an example of the email the candidate receives. To send the customized email to all candidates in our source, we just need to add a for loop at the beginning to repeat our code for all profiles. Now let's create a workflow on HrFlow.ai platform using this code. To do so, you just need to go to the Workflow section on HrFlow.ai platform and click on Create Workflow. Then choose Pull as the type of workflow, which means it will be triggered periodically, and click on Create Workflow to confirm. Finally, type in a recognizable name for your workflow and add a description of what it does. Another important setting is the runtime. For now, the service supports Python 3.6, but watch out as the new runtimes are added to the pool. Once you finish, click on Create Workflow to confirm. Our workflow is created successfully. We can find our workflow key on the Overview tab, and we can change the name and description of the workflow on the Settings tab. To associate some code with this workflow, you need to navigate to the Function tab. Amongst other things, you will find here a code editor where you can enter your workflow instructions. The execution environment has also been loaded with some useful libraries, so you can do more with your workflow. One important thing to keep in mind is that the workflow expects a specific signature that you must respect in order to properly execute your code. For pull workflows, the platform expects a function named workflow that accepts the argument settings, which is a Python dictionary containing data defined in the environment properties section. Now let's add the code for our workflow. First, we define the workflow function as expected, and then initialize the HrFlow.ai client. Finally, we copy the workflow code we prepared on Google Colab. Once we're done, we click on Deploy to activate our workflow. If you want, you can also use the Environment Properties section to set up the settings argument and specify parameters of your code, for example, API key and user API. This concludes our tutorial for today. I hope you found it useful. As always, all relevant resources are in the video description. You can also leave your questions in the comments section and we'll get back to you. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you get the latest HrFlow.ai tutorials. See you in the next video.